Hi, I'm Kevin Fontana, and welcome to my Dirt Cheap Guitar channel. In this Dirt Cheap Guitar, I'm actually not talking about guitar. I want to talk about microphones. Now, why might you be concerned about microphones if you're just going to play guitar? Well, are you ever going to sing? Do you need to amplify your voice? Do you want to record? Are you recording your instrument? Are you going to record an amplifier? All of these things can kind of determine what type of microphone that you need. So I'm going to start off with the most common two microphones and why I think these are dirt cheap buys. I have the Shure SM58 and the Shure SM57. These are the industry standard microphones. You will see this one in front of vocalists all over the world. You will see this one on instruments and used as vocalists. And that's why if you were getting one to start off, I would probably say the 57, this one here, would be your best one to get out of the gate, because you can use it on amplifiers, you can use it on acoustic guitars, you can use it on vocals, you can use it on drums. The SM58 is more designed for vocals, but it does work for amplifier cabinets and guitars. The biggest difference between these two, other than obviously the shape of the tip of the microphone, is that on the SM58 there's a little bit of a peak around 1K. So if you were to look at the EQ, it's going to be generally flat, but there's a little bit of a peak because that's where the human voice is. And so it's kind of tuned to pick up vocalists, but they both work kind of interchangeably. Again, this is probably overall for your first mic going to be the best bet. If you want to record on the computer, you're definitely going to need something like this. Now, these both retail for around $95 to $100 new each. And you might think, well, how is that dirt cheap guitar? Now, there are manufacturers that make models of microphones comparable to these that are a little bit cheaper. But the reason I'm recommending this is because of the durability of these microphones. They're almost indestructible. And let me give you an example. So this microphone here, I have had in my collection for well over 25 years. This is one of the first microphones, or if not the first microphone I ever purchased. And it served me well until today, and I still use it. Whether I'm having to close mic like this, or if I'm using it for vocals at a show, etc. Compare that to this one. This is one that my father owned before he passed away, and I would guess that this was new sometime in the early 80s. It is wore to pieces. It has tons of dents in it where it's been dropped, but it still works. Now, if I really wanted to make it look pretty, you could actually get replacement spheres like this. So you could get another one of these, and I think I had to replace a couple on other microphones that I've had, and they were maybe $6 to $10 each. You can unscrew the capsule on this, or the cover for the capsule, and it looks kind of like the SM57 on the inside, but again, it's tuned a little bit differently, and you can get new versions of these. And if you really wanted to, you could paint it, but this kind of like, is battle scars. It's seen a lot of use over the years. In addition to this SM57, you can get ones like this. So this is the CAD TSM 411, and this is comparable to a 57 as far as the sound. Maybe not quite as good, but the thing about this, you can use it on guitar cabinets, you can use it on drums like toms and things. I've used it even for a kick drum, although it's not really quite designed for that. And it's worked fine. The thing is that the housing is metal, but it's not going to be quite, I mean, I swear I think you could drive nails with these. I wouldn't suggest attempting that, but they are built like a tank. I've heard of these things getting wet and people, still able to use them. So I got a pair of these on one of Musician's Friend's Stupid Deals of the Day. They're not sponsored. I don't get any money out of them or anything, but you know, sometimes you can find good buys there. And I think I got 2 of these for maybe 50 bucks, somewhere $30 to $50, somewhere in that range. It's been several years ago, so I don't really remember, but I know that this one is probably going to outlive these by quite a bit. So when I talk about dirt cheap, I also want to factor in the longevity of what you're buying and what you're spending your money for. And I really do think it's worth the little bit of extra money to go ahead and invest in these, because they are going to last you for years. Again, don't go driving nails with them, but they will hold up time and again, especially if you plan on playing out live. Now for home use, you know, you may not necessarily need that extra durability, but it's an industry standard. And so all these 57s are going to sound the same. So if you hear something on YouTube and you're like, gosh, I want to get that sound in my recording, if they're using a 57 on a particular cabinet, I would use that mic as well. Also, these pair well with certain ribbon microphones, so you'll actually see adapters that you can get where you can use this and another ribbon microphone together. You know, they work great. So again, you can't go wrong, even though you're spending a little bit more money out of the gate, because you're paying for that durability and you expect to use these for years to come. And so if you want to hear the differences, again, this is going to sound better through headphones. But here is an example of the sound that the SM58 is picking up. And here is an example that the SM57 is picking up. They're both running into cables and running into my Focusrite Scarlett. The settings are pretty much identical. I tried to get the volumes through headphones as close as I could, so you'll really be able to hear the difference between the 2 different microphones. So if you like this video, be sure and give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to click that bell icon, and that way you'll be notified anytime I post new content. And until next time, remember, keep practicing.